Hello students, today we are going to discuss about two classes, that is amphibia and reptile. So in previous lecture, we have already discussed about class Cyclostomata, Chondrichthyes and Ostrachthys. Okay, you know the vertebrata can be divided into Agnatha and Gnatostomata. Okay, and Agnatha related discussion we have done in the previous lecture, and Gnatostomata we have discussed up to superclass species, in which we have discussed already about the Chondrichthyes and Ostrachthys. Okay, and in today's lecture we will discuss more about Gnatostomata, that is a jaw-bearing organism, and that is a superclass tetrapoda. So today we are going to discuss about tetrapoda that made the limbs. Okay, and in these we will discuss only about the amphibia and reptilia today, and for AIMS and the mammalia we will discuss in next lecture. Okay, so we'll discuss today about amphibia and reptilia. So first of all, let me start with the amphibia. Okay, and let me discuss about some general characteristic of amphibia class. So they live in aquatic. Here you can see they can live in aquatic regions. Okay, and even they can live in the terrestrial. Okay, so this is a unique feature of this class. They can live in aquatic regions also and terrestrial habitat also. And that's why they are considered as the amphibia. That means dual type of habitat they can live. Okay, so they have aquatic as well as terrestrial habitat. They can live in both the habitat, and that's why they are considered as a amphibia. Okay, amphi means two, or a dual habitat means they can live in the two type of habitat. Okay, and they are habitual for living in such conditions. Okay, and that's why they are considered as a amphibia. Now, and need water for the breeding. You must remember here this will need water for the breeding, or breeding is the process of a sexual reproduction. Okay, and body has a head. Here you can see this is the head portion, this one. Okay, and the trunk. So this whole portion will consider as a trunk. So body can be divided into two groups. Here you can see two parts. Okay, one is a head, this one is a head, and whole rest other part of the body is a trunk. And some will have tail, not all, but some will have tail. Moist skin is also a unique feature of these organisms. So moist skin without scale. Okay, and here you must be remember this skin is playing very important role as a respiratory organ in this group of animals. Okay, and that's why the skin must be moist. So here they will have skin with the moist skin. Okay, and they do not have any type of scales on that. Smooth skin will be there. Okay, most have a two pair of limbs. Here you can see they may have two pair of limbs. Okay, and tympanum represent the ear. Here you can see this one, this round shape structure, oval shape structure is a tympanum. Okay, and it will represent the ear. Three chambered heart is a unique feature of this group of animals. Okay, so here you will observe three chambered heart, though it is a complete type of we can say digestive system. Okay, then here cardiac system is of closed type, and that's why three chambered heart is there. So three chambered heart may contain two auricle and one ventricle. So you must remember two auricles here you can see. Okay, and one ventricle. So it is made up of three chambered heart. Okay, and let me discuss further. So these group of animals are poikilotherms, and already I discussed about that. What is a poikilotherms? Poikilotherms are also considered as a cold-blooded animals. Okay, and we have already defined about the poikilotherms. Poikilotherms are the animals which cannot maintain their body temperature according to the external environment. Okay, so here these organisms also show poikilothermous activity. That means they cannot maintain their body temperature according to the external environment. Okay, so be very clear here. Next, alimentary canal, that is a digestive system, then urinary and reproductive tract. This is also a very unique feature of this group of animal. Okay, so this is only seen in this group of animal. Alimentary canal, urinary and reproductive tract, these all opening will be open into one unique structure, and this unique structure is called cloaca, and that is one bag like structure outside of the body. Okay, here you can see the structure, this one. This will open, means this cloaca will open outside of the body. This one. Okay, these all three structures, this whole system will be open in the cloaca. Okay, which will open exterior, means outside of the body. So let me repeat what is a cloaca. Here alimentary canal, urinary opening, reproductive tracts, all these system tract will open into one structure, one specific structure, and that specific structure is a bag-like structure, and that is called cloaca, which open to the exterior portion, exterior part of the body. Okay, so this is unique feature you must be remember. Then respiration will be done with the help of gills. Okay, in the larval form of the organism, here you can see this is a tadpole, okay, having a gills. Okay, so this is the larval form of a frog. Okay, so frog having a larval stages. Okay, indirect development is there, and that's why you can observe larval stage in this frog life cycle. Okay, so whenever they are in the larval stage, at that time they will respirate with the help of gills. Okay, then on the terrestrial region they will respire by the lungs. Okay, on the terrestrial region they will respire with the help of skin. So you must be remember here, in the aquatic region they will respire with the help of skin, and here whenever they are in the terrestrial region, at that time they will respire with the help of lungs. So different stages of a life they will show different kind of a respiration methods. So here you must be remember, larval stage they will show a gill related respiration. Then if they are on the terrestrial region, then you know very well, amphibia can live on the terrestrial region as well as on the water. Okay, so whenever they are on the terrestrial region, at that time they will respire with the help of lungs. Okay, and whenever they are in the water aquatic region, they will respire with the help of a skin. Sexes are separate, when male and female both are different. Okay, here sexes are separate, male and female both are different, dioecious type of organism. This is external fertilization will happen. So here you can see this is the frog that will release outside egg cell, will be a female frog will release egg cells outside, male frog will release the sperm cell outside the body. Okay, and then both the egg cell and the sperm cell released by the male and egg cell released by the female, both will fertilize on the water. Okay, so outside of the body this whole process of fertilization will occur. Okay, and that's the external fertilization here. Oviparous, that means egg forming organism. Then development is a indirect. Okay, here directly these eggs will not give a frog, mature frog. Okay, that will pass from some stages. Here you can see some tadpole, and here you can see this is also tadpole. Okay, so this is a larval form, and by this way they will get matured. Okay, and that's why here written development is indirect. So let me repeat the points. These organisms are poikilotherms, alimentary canal, then urinary and reproductive tract. All tracts will open into the cloaca, okay, which is open outside the body. The respiration will done with the help of three structures: gills in the larval stage, lungs on the terrestrial region, and skin in the aquatic region. Okay, and here sexes are separate. External fertilization here observed. Okay, then oviparous, they will give eggs. Then development will be indirect with the help of such a larva. You can see the photograph of a larva here. Okay, so larval stage, that is called tadpole stage. Okay, this stage is called tadpole, and this is a larva of a frog. Okay, so by using this larva they will get matured and finally come into the mature form like this. Next, here you can see some photographs. Okay, these indicating the examples of amphibia class. Okay, so these are a different kind of frogs. Okay, so here you can see this is a bufo frog. Okay, and that is also called toad. I already told you, you must be remember all example along with the brackets. Okay, so here rana. Okay, this is a very unique frog, Rana tigrina, a scientific name, and that is also frog. Here tree frog is there. Okay, and that is called hyla. Okay, and here salamandra, that is a salamander. Okay, and these you must be remember, very unique this one. Okay, though it is included in a tetrapoda. Superclass tetrapoda indicate tetra means four, poda means legs, right? So here all the organism will have four legs. Okay, but here this is the exceptional case. You must be remember this case. Okay, though here a limbless, this organism is totally limbless. There is a no legs or no poda. Okay, even these all class having a tetrapoda, right? But here no any type of a poda or legs are there. Here it is limbless amphibia. So here this is unique example, and there is ichthyofish. Okay, this one is a ichthyofish, and they do not have any type of limb, means limbless amphibia this one. So you must be remember this example uniquely. So now let me discuss about next class, and that is a Reptilia. Okay, that is also included in superclass Tetrapoda, and the superclass Tetrapoda included in the subphylum Vertebrata. So we are discussing about subphylum Vertebrata, in which we are discussing about superclass Tetrapoda, in which we are discussing about the class Reptilia. Okay, so now let me discuss about some general characteristics of Reptilia. So here one unique feature is that a dry and conified skin. Here you can see the organism photograph. Okay, all will have dry and conified skin, and even these epidermal tissues or epidermal skin will have scales and scutes. Okay, so scales and scutes will be present. Here you can see scaly skin is there. Outermost skin is a scaly. Now, very unique thing you will observe here is a skin casting. So here you can see the photograph. Skin casting phenomena is observed. Okay, so snakes and lizard both have the habit of shedding their scales as a skin cast. Okay, they habitually they can do this process. Okay, frequently, and that is a skin casting process. They will remove outer layer of this body skin. Okay, outer skin of the body, and that process is called skin casting. Okay, and frequently they are doing this, and snakes and lizards are the habitual for the process. Limbs, here if it is present, sometime you can understand this is even it is a tetrapoda, but some organism is not included in the, even it is included in tetrapoda, they do not have any type of limbs, limbless. Here snakes are the most example. Okay, most favorite example we can say, we are knowing about the snakes, they do not have limbs. So here even it is included in the reptilia, or even it is included in the tetrapoda, there is no limbs present. Okay, so if limb is present, that may be that will be in the number 2 pairs. Okay, if it is present, but sometime it is not present. Here you can see the photograph of a snakes. Okay, crawling mode of locomotion. Just because of this mode of locomotion, this group of organism name is given is a reptilia. Okay, so here crawling process will occur at the time of locomotion, and that's why the name of organisms, class of organism is given reptilia. Okay, and here tympanum, here you can see the photograph. Tympanum represent ear. Okay, so here only internal and the middle ear will be present. External ear is not present, and that's why tympanum itself will act as a ear. Okay, so tympanum represent ear here. Now let me discuss much about this. Three chamber heart is the unique feature here. Okay, so three chamber heart will be present, but septum partially separate the ventricle. You must be remember here, but the septum here you can see partially separate the ventricle. Okay, and sometime you can see here this one, two auricles, and this one the ventricle. Okay, so three chamber heart is a unique feature, but the septum partially separate ventricle. And here you must be remember this example, that the heart here in this group of animal four chambered in case of a crocodile. This is an exceptional case. Whole class of a reptilia having three chambered heart, but the organism which is included in the reptilia, though it is reptilia, do not have three chambered heart, they will have four chambered heart. Okay, and the example is a crocodile. So you must be remember, crocodile is included in a reptilia, though they have four chambered heart. Okay, and these are poikilotherms. Now you know very well what is a poikilotherms. Okay, so they are cold-blooded animals. That means they cannot maintain their body temperature according to the external environment. Okay, and here well-developed alimentary canal is there. Okay, respiration done with the help of lungs, because these all organisms are totally terrestrial. Okay, totally terrestrial organism these are. Okay, with some exceptions, you know very well, crocodile can live in the water also. Internal fertilization observed here, they are oviparous. Okay, they can lay the eggs. Here you can see the egg with egg photograph. Okay, development is totally direct. So here you can see reptilian lungs, egg laying capacity, okay, egg laying phenomena, and that is oviparous. Internal fertilization, development is direct. Okay, so these are all about the reptilia. Now here in this photograph you can see some photographs. Okay, so here turtle, it is called Calon. Okay, you must be remember both the names of a reptilia examples. Testudo, this one is a testudo, we are calling it as a tortoise. This one is a chameleon, very well known example this is, have ability to change the color. Okay, so these are chameleon. Tree lizard, that is called Hemidactylis. This is a scientific name for the Hemidactylis, is a wall lizard. Okay, wall lizard scientific name is a Hemidactylis. Here you can see. Okay, and this is a Calors. and this is called garden lizard also. And here in this photograph, this is also very well-known organism, crocodile, and the scientific name is a crocodilus, and this one is the alligator. So you must be remember all these example along with the brackets. So these all are the example of reptile. Along with this, you can see these poisonous snakes are also included in this group of animals. Okay, and you must be remember these all are a limbless organism. Even they are included in this tetrapoda, they do not have limbs. So this is a unique one. Okay, so these all type of snakes, you know very well, snakes having so many kind of snakes are present on the earth. Okay, so some example as you can see in the photograph here, naja, they are a cobra. Okay, so scientific name for the cobra is a Naja naja. Okay, so the full scientific name, Naja is one kind of a genus, and the species name is also Naja. So Naja naja is the name of a scientific name of a cobra. Then here it is, you can see here, great snake. Okay, this is a Bangarus. Then this one is a viper snake, and it is called Vipera. Okay, and this is the python. Here you can see the python. Okay, so this is the non-poisonous snake. So you must be remember which one is a poisonous snake and which one is a non-poisonous snake. Okay, so these three are included as a poisonous snake, and this one is a non-poisonous snakes. So these all are the example of a class Reptilia. So this is your homework for today's lecture, and before we finish this lecture, let me summarize whole topic by using one animation video. So look at this video.
Based on the presence or absence of jaws, vertebrates are classified into two divisions, Agnatha and Gnathostomata. Agnatha includes jawless vertebrates, while Gnathostomata includes jawed vertebrates. Agnatha has just one class, Cyclostomata. These jawless vertebrates live in a marine habitat and are ectoparasites on some fish. Cyclostomes have an elongated body with 6 to 15 pairs of gill slits for respiration. However, their body is devoid of scales and paired fins. They have a sucking and circular mouth, a cartilaginous cranium and a vertebral column, and a closed circulatory system. The life cycle of cyclostomes is unique. They migrate to fresh water to spawn and die within a few days, leaving their larvae, which, after metamorphosis, return to the ocean. Petromyzon and myxine are examples of cyclostomes. Gnathostomata, or jawed vertebrates, are divided into two superclasses, Pisces and Tetrapoda. Pisces is further divided into two classes, Chondrichthyes and Osteichthyes. Chondrichthyes are marine fish with a streamlined body and a cartilaginous endoskeleton. Interestingly, the notochord is persistent throughout their lifespan. Their skin is tough due to the presence of minute placoid scales. In fact, their teeth are modified placoid scales. Unlike other fish, their gill slits are separate and the operculum is absent. Moreover, the absence of the air bladder forces them to swim constantly to remain buoyant. These fish are cold-blooded or poikilotherm and have a two-chambered heart with one auricle and one ventricle. They also have powerful jaws that make them good predators. Some of them also have an electric organ or a poison sting to protect themselves from predators. Chondrichthyes are dioecious, and the pelvic fins in males have claspers. Fertilization in these fish is internal, and many of them are viviparous. Carcharinus, Scoliodon, Pristis, and Trigon are examples of this class. The next class within Pisces is Osteichthyes. These are marine and freshwater fish with a streamlined body and a bony endoskeleton. Their skin is covered with cycloid or ctenoid scales. These fish have 4 pairs of gills, which are covered by an operculum and an air bladder, which maintains buoyancy. They too are cold-blooded and have a 2-chambered heart. Osteichthyes are dioecious, and fertilization is usually external. They are largely oviparous and exhibit direct development. Hippocampus and Exocetus are marine fish, while Labeo, Catula, and Clarius are freshwater fish. While some fish like Betta and Pterophyllum are used in aquariums. The remaining 4 classes are placed under the superclass Tetrapoda, which means animals with limbs. Amphibians are adapted to aquatic as well as terrestrial habitats. Their body is divided into a head and trunk. While most of them have 2 pairs of limbs, some don't have a tail while others do. Their skin is always moist and lacks scale. Their eyes are covered by eyelids. Behind the eyes is a pair of tympanum, which represents the ears. In amphibians, the alimentary canal and urinary and reproductive tracts open into a common chamber called the cloaca, which opens to the exterior. Adult amphibians breathe through lungs and skin, while the larvae breathe through their exterior gills. These animals are cold-blooded with a 3-chambered heart. In amphibians, the sexes are separate and fertilization is external. They are oviparous and exhibit direct or indirect development. Bufo, Rana, Hyla, and Salamandra are common examples of this class. The next class, Reptilia, includes animals that creep or crawl. Reptiles are largely terrestrial animals, and their body is covered by dry and cornified skin and epidermal scales or scutes. They have external ear openings, and the tympanum represents the ear. Except for snakes, reptiles have 2 pairs of limbs. Reptiles are cold-blooded and usually have a 3-chambered heart. However, crocodiles have a 4-chambered heart. Some reptiles, such as snakes and lizards, shed their skin. In reptiles, the sexes are separate and fertilization is internal. They are oviparous and exhibit direct development. Some common reptiles are chelone, testudo, chameleon, crocodilus, and naja.
Next lecture we will learn about class Aves and Mammalia. Until that, goodbye.